And now it's time for sports. So Mackenzie, how are our Buckeyes?
They're doing great. They're starting the season off great and they're ending it great. So we'll see going into the last 2 games of the regular season. Hi, I'm Mackenzie and I'm here to tell you the exciting story both inside and outside the game. In anticipation of next week's inaugural rivalry game between Ohio State Buckeyes and the Michigan Wolverines, BuckeyeTV reporter Brooke McCaffrey caught up with students to hear how they're feeling ahead of the big game.
With every great rivalry comes great traditions. On Saturday, November 27th, the Buckeyes will travel to Ann Arbor to take on the Michigan Wolverines. This game marks the 117th meeting between the two teams and has many Ohio State fans coming out to show their school spirit.
I always look forward to seeing the big X's over all the M's all over campus. I remember they X'd out Moral Towers, like that M, my freshman year, and I thought it was crazy how they were able to climb up and were able to do that.
As the number of crossed-off ends increases around campus, the level of excitement continues to build amongst those members of the band and students traveling up north for the big game.
We, as a band, get to travel to the enemy's field, and in their enemy territory, just like being the outsider and just having a lot of people like booing at us. Like, it's not great, but it sounds fun.
I'm really excited because this year I'm going to Ann Arbor for the game, and this is the first time I've ever been on Michigan campus. And I'm really excited to be in the stadium because I'm expecting Ohio State to do well, and it's going to be really fun to win.
Though many will be focused on the scoreboard, next Saturday's game isn't the only matchup that students are looking forward to. This year marks the 40th anniversary of the annual Blood Battle, a blood collection competition between the two universities during the month of November. For those looking to participate in this tradition, head over to BuckeyeBloodOSU.org and schedule your appointment today. For Buckeye TV, Brooke McCaffrey.
Have you ever wondered how the footage and photos you see from game day are created? I took to the field to follow 7 student journalists around for the day to understand how game day content is made.
It's game day, Buckeyes. The Lantern is Ohio State's independent student newspaper, and every game day, a team of 7 journalists takes to the field to cover the Buckeyes through writing, video, and photography. And I followed them around for the day to see how their extensive content is created.
Game days are busy, so we start off here coming in the newsroom, getting our equipment, so camera, tripods, everything we need. Then we get there about 3 hours early, we check in, grab some snacks there in the press box and get right before the game, but we typically get down there right before the team comes in, and then we want to get all of our pregame shots, so that includes warm-ups, them walking out, and they do it by position group, so we try to get each position group, and we try to get as much content as we can. You don't want to oversaturate with it, but you want enough to kind of set the stage, set the scene, so we'll put those out on socials, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram.
So when we're out on the field, usually we try, unless there's not a special assignment, we try and get as much action as we can. So usually we like to stand on the end zone that Ohio State's going towards to score. And then we try and usually get pictures of a quarterback, or like CJ Stroud when he's doing something, like throwing the ball. And then usually we try and focus on the wide receivers or whoever has the ball at that time. And we try and get kind of just action or pictures of action as much as we can.
Right in the gamer, I typically honestly, I just watch the game for the first half. Watch the game and tweet. I don't really even think about the gamer until halftime. Just because, like, the first half is important, obviously, but it's not going to tell the narrative of the game, really. It's just kind of to set up what the narrative of the game will be. So I typically start writing around halftime, just focusing on key things that happen in the first half that are likely to continue in the second half. So going from there, when it gets to around the fourth quarter, I normally have a good idea of what is going to be in the story. But if it's a close game, I'll probably have 2 stories running at the same time. I'll have a winning story and a losing story.
Well, Ohio State, that's another Buckeye win covered by students for students. To see more from the Purdue game and the season, head over to thelantern.com to see what these journalists have been up to in depth. And I'm Mackenzie Shanklin reporting for Buckeye TV.
After a blowout win against Purdue, number 4 Ohio State football will take on number 7 Michigan State this weekend at noon for the team's last regular home season game. In other news, the Ohio State men's basketball team will be on the road for the first time to Xavier to continue the Gavitt games. Both teams are going into the matchup undefeated early in the season. Here at home, the Ohio State Number 2 women's ice hockey team and the number 10 women's volleyball team will kick off the weekend Friday for their last home games of the season. The women's ice hockey team will take on Minnesota State and the volleyball team will take on Iowa. That's all for sports news. Let's go back to Kate and Emma.
Thanks, Mackenzie. Next week is Thanksgiving Day, and it's all in the holiday spirit. What are you going to do?
The first snow just fell a few days ago. Winter has already come. We'll be right back with winter holiday stories.